Hey, this is Ed, and we're in the middle of the coronavirus pandemic, end of April. And as you may know, I am an educator, and something I wanted to talk about for a minute here is goal setting. Not just goal setting for your students, if you're a special ed teacher, progress monitoring, goal setting in your state or possibly your country is very essential to what you're doing. But I also want to talk about goal setting for yourself. I think it's as a teacher, it's very important to set personal goals outside of teaching in your work environment because it helps you relate to your students at another level. It could be very hard for you to set realistic expectations when you don't remember what it feels like to be striving for short and long term goals and the challenges that come with that. Sure, you're working with a preschooler, high schooler, middle schooler, and to you it seems simple, but putting yourself on the playing field to know what it's like to go through a huge challenge is a big deal. For me, the past 2 years, I've been really focusing on running, and I have some major long-term running goals and short-term running goals. And when you're thinking about goals, I say outside of teaching because some things when you do as a teacher, it's hard to quantify what you're doing. Where if you're setting goals for your students, usually quantifiable, it should be at least something that you should be able to track. Like for my kids, mostly persevering through non-preferred activities. Some of my kids' goals is to persevere through a non-preferred activity for 5 minutes, 4 out of 5 consecutive trials by the end of the year. And you got to build up for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, all these different increments in between in ways that you get there. And it's hard to do that as a teacher if you're trying to set teaching goals. But if you're doing things outside of teaching, like running, maybe financial, maybe it's staying in contact with people you love. It's a good way to. It's a good way to. I'm sorry. It's a good way to be able to relate to your students. That's really important. And how you set goals for your students is you know what it's like to go through the process. So while you have this extra time during the pandemic, possibly as a teacher, you might be doing a lot of online things. Think about what things do you want to achieve that you're passionate about that haven't been as efficient that you could really go in on and set something really achievable. This is Ed.